Hey, what's up? I was thinking about how the media has been treating President Trump since the very beginning. They have been rude to him, they have yelled at him, they have antagonized him, they've lied to him, they've lied about him, they've interviewed him and then cut the interview to suit their own needs, and they genuinely have been rotten to him. And I'm talking about the mainstream media, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, and such. I, for one, am sick and tired of them disrespecting my president, especially when there's so many independent journalists out there who love President Trump and would make sure that the interview that they had with him would be the best interview he's ever had. So I started thinking, what's the comparison on viewership with people like Benny Johnson, people like Joe Rogan, people like Steven Crowder, Michael Knowles, versus CNN, MSNBC, ABC? Well, here we have a list of all the networks plus some independent journalists and a comparison of their viewership. But before we get to that, it would mean the world to me if you would smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. I don't only make videos, I make shorts, I live stream, and I'm just getting into interviews. I am on the road to 40,000 subscribers and I cannot wait. I'm so excited to be making content that people are liking. So thank you very much for watching this video, and let's get back to it. As you see, ABC, NBC News, Fox News, and then Benny Johnson? You're telling me that Benny Johnson has the exact same viewership as Fox News? And right below him is Joe Rogan, and below two independent people, not mainstream media, we have MSNBC, Steven Crowder, CNN, Michael Knowles. So you're telling me Steven Crowder has almost double the viewership of CNN. So why would President Trump ever give CNN the right time of day? Maybe even he should revoke the White House press credentials of CNN and give those credentials to Steven Crowder. I've been thinking about this subject for days now. Why does President Trump and our government keep giving networks the right time of day when all they are is rude to him? They lie about him, they make up false claims, and they're just complete rotten individuals. Why do we keep giving energy and time to those networks? Steven Crowder has almost double the views of CNN. Joe Rogan and Benny Johnson make CNN's ratings cry. The Joe Rogan episode with JD Vance turned my opinion about JD Vance completely around. I did not like JD Vance at first. And then I watched him on Joe Rogan. And I left that 3 hours being a JD Vance fan. And now I can't wait until 2028 when I'm going to vote for him to be my president. Joe Rogan did that, not Caitlin Collins. So here are a few, only a handful of the more memorable moments that Donald Trump has had with reporters. Why would you ever go back and do more interviews with anyone?
You know, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
that's
I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that that you may have
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down.
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Joe.
Why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating and we were talking to...
On the complete opposite flip side of this coin, we have many videos of Donald Trump going on podcasts like Joe Rogan, going on live streams, going on independent news outlets and doing interviews. And every single time Donald Trump is face to face with one of us, he is met with dignity, respect, admiration, and downright love.
Mr. President, Brandy Cruz, you're going to hear us be very fired up today, and you can tell, and it's because some of us have been covering Antifa for 15 years and have never had anyone in a position of authority even acknowledge their existence. And I'll also tell you that I think that had you not done, the single most powerful thing you've done to deal with this scourge has been acknowledging that Antifa is a real thing. I genuinely believe there would be people at these tables who would be dead today and would have been killed in Portland had you not called them a terror organization and said, we're going to bring the full weight of the federal government to bear. I talked to Katie Daviscourt in Portland the other day. She'd been assaulted all summer. And she said the same thing. They didn't seem quick to violence as soon as you made that designation. So they're thinking in their heads, they're worried. There's been 24 or so arrested in Portland. They don't want to go to federal prison. There's this video of them, one of them who is in the face of an ICE agent, and then he's in custody shaking. Once you take the mask off, they're nothing.
Hi, Mr. President. It is an honor being here today, and I first wanted to start by thanking you guys for designating Antifa a terrorist group. It's exactly what this group is. It's a long time coming. I'm an investigative journalist from Seattle. I work for the Post Millennial alongside Andy No and Jack Posobiec. I have been infiltrating Antifa cells in Seattle and Portland for the past decade. I know their inner workings, and Antifa uses extreme political violence to crush the civil rights of their political enemies and believes that violence is justified by any means necessary. But today, I want to focus on what is happening in Portland at the ICE facility. I've been covering this.
So I started doing some digging on this subject, and I found that not only am I not alone, but one of the biggest and smartest and wildest show hosts in the history of YouTube, Internet, Rumble, X shows, Alex Jones, completely and totally 100% agrees with me. And I agree with him. Check this out.
All right, I want to do a critique of Trump right now from a place of love and a place of wanting to beat the globalists, because they literally want to put me in prison and destroy the country and destroy your future and cut your sons and daughters' genitals up. So this is life and death, folks. And what Trump's doing to the globalists is night and day compared, to what was happening. I mean, this is a godsend. It could be better, but don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Trump continues to care about corporate media, to get mad because CBS interviewed him and then cut it all up and refused to air large parts of it. He gets mad at late night comics that have almost no views. Now he's moved on to the even later shows that have about 300,000 viewers instead of 1 million. But he's 79, folks, and it's on record what he watches. MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. They have a war room they built for him where they have a bunch of shows up. My show, Steve Bannon's, they tell me there's like 50 shows up for him, and they showed him how to control it. And he comes in and sits, and they try to get him to understand podcasting, and that this is what's big. And then remember, he had an interview with Elon Musk. It had 1 billion people tuned into it. Just the show itself, not to mention all the clips that went out. Do you want to do a show with 1 billion people that watch it, or do you want to do one with 1 million and then get upset? But he's 79. He has major blind spots. And so this is for Trump, and I'm going to get it to him. And this is for Barron, who I know already watches. And this is for Don. Mr. President, you have won the information war against the globalist. The left has its back broken worldwide. Populists are being elected everywhere. It's why they've now mysteriously, killed 30-plus AFD members every time they're about to win an election. All they've got left now is killing us or censoring us. So you're riding a wave of populism. You've got great energy, great focus, great clarity, but you do not understand new media, and you don't understand the metrics, that it's not just giving it a run for the money like he did Joe Rogan right before the election. And he goes, wow, these podcasts are really giving the corporate media, or, really giving the mainstream media a run for their money. It was a quote like that. No, we're not giving them a run for their money. We're running circles around them. They've done the numbers. An average Joe Rogan podcast has 30 times a CNN show. That's an average one. This show today, this broadcast, will have more viewers than all CNN shows today combined. Their average show has 84,000 viewers total. 84,000 viewers an hour. I could get off the air today and shoot 5 videos on Rumble, 5 on X, and they'd have conservatively 10 million views tomorrow. And then it gets grabbed and put everywhere else on TikTok and YouTube. I can't even keep track of it. And I'm not number one, Trump. Elon Musk, when he does shows, is number one, dwarfing everything. Just like when you do something original yourself, it takes over everything. So you're number one. with power of your own media power. Elon Musk is number 2. And quite frankly, the stuff he does is so big, if he did more media, he'd be bigger than you. I'm just telling you. Just giving the facts. Just reporting to you. And then it's Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, and then from there. Okay? And Rumble's done the numbers, and YouTube's done it, and they've got you can pull up mainstream news admitting this even, okay? I mean, I remember they flipped out back when CNN had a bigger audience. They had all those headlines 6, 7 years ago, and it goes, Alex Jones has 12 times the viewers of CNN total. They're like, oh my God, get him off the air. Well, good luck. You got bigger problems now. I'm like a 200-foot tall Godzilla, and they were shooting everything they had at me. And then now, Elon Musk is 5,000 feet tall. Trump's 10,000 feet tall. You are literally like a lion bowing down to a mouse. You are like an elephant bowing down to a mouse. He's doing a lot of good stuff. And so I'm not just trying to criticize. It's just that I see so much as he got better about this in the first 6 months of his administration, not being baited in by corporate media with their lies. Don't worry, we're your surrogates. We'll deal with that. You're the leader. You need to be focused on the big strokes, the big issues, which I know you mainly are. I'm just critiquing to make it better. And I'll show you examples of this in a moment, of where Trump is spending his time on Lilliputians that have less than 500,000 viewers. What in the world are you doing? So first, I want to give some good news about Trump, because this is totally true. Patrick Bet-David on Fox, Trump's been vindicated already, and history books will favor him. In 10, 20, 30 years, when you're sitting in a movie theater and watching Netflix, there will be a movie about Donald Trump. Kids will grow up saying, I'm going to be like Donald Trump. Obama, this is the worst way to end your legacy. You had 2 terms and were supposed to be the black Jesus, and now everyone has turned on you. Well, you really had 3 terms, the unelected term of Biden. Exactly. They're beaten. They're over. They're a joke. They wanted to be Hollywood. They think it's all cool. They think having Hollywood parties is cool. Hollywood hadn't been cool for 20, 30 years. Now it's super uncool. It's a joke. So Obama, out of his Martha's Vineyard thing, has all these Hollywood people there, and it's ridiculous. Doing great job. You're doing such a wonderful job on so many fronts. I'm just saying, giving legacy media attention and acting like they are important is breathing life into a dead carcass. You're trying to raise them from the dead, which is impossible, but it still lets them suck oxygen out of the room and insert themselves in the debate when they don't matter. Here's Patrick Bet-David.
The trust in the media right now is at an all-time low, and no one trusts the press. Do you think it would help them if they would give a little and say, yay, cleaned up D.C., looks great. The homeless are gone, the streets are cleaner, there's less crime. Is it their inability to just give a little bit is what makes everybody just not buy this garbage?
They have a hard time with that. But the reality of it is this guy's going to keep winning over and over and over again, and it's going to upset them even more. You got enemies that are wanting to do business with them. You got him flying, working harder than anybody else. I keep saying this. I dare anybody right now measure how hard they're working. And this man is 79 years old, about to be 80 years old next year in 2026. They're envious. They're jealous. It's already been proven. He's been vindicated. History books are going to favor this guy. One day in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to be sitting in a movie theater watching a movie of his or a show on Netflix that's going to come out in 10 series. The amount of stories they're going to show of what this man was able to do. Many kids are going to grow up saying, I want to grow up to be like Donald Trump. Obama, this is the worst way to finish up your legacy. You came off your 2 terms. You were supposed to be Black Jesus. Everyone's turned against you. You guys had to pay people like Beyonce and all these other guys to come perform for you. Trump is going after protecting folks in Nigeria. Nicki Minaj is coming saying thank you to President Trump. Trump didn't pay Nicki Minaj for a thank you. They have a hard time winning their own people over. Trump is winning their people over, and this is driving them insane.
In conclusion, I just want to say this. Donald Trump is the most famous person on this planet right now. He should not be giving his time and energy to people who want to bash him, insult him, lie about him, and generally make his experience on their show a negative one. He needs to remove credentials of people who don't know how to be actual journalists and replace those credentials with those of Benny Johnson, Steven Crowder, Michael Knowles, hey, maybe even Climatics. I've been covering the Portland riots for a couple months now. I interviewed two predominant people out there. I want to interview more people. You know who I'd like to interview and talk specifically about Portland and the leadership in Portland? Because I've done multiple videos on this. I know all about it. You know who I want to interview? Tom Homan. But I'm not CNN or Fox News or MSNBC. I'm just me. I think it's time that we get pushed to the forefront and these clown mainstream media people get put at the back of the line where they belong. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate all your support. Come by the live streams, check it out. Check out my other videos. Check out my interviews with Tommy and the P-Town Patriot. More interviews are scheduled and are coming. Please join my community. We have a great group of patriots. You will like everyone. You might even like some of the trolls. Thanks for watching. Peace.